Warm welcome to you all to my YouTube channel Bachelor and Master English. I am going to talk about some new topic today. And today's topic is King John and the Abbot of Canterbury. This is a ballad by anonymous poet of England. In our today's discussion, we will have the plot of King John and Abbot of Canterbury, summary. There will be discussion of the text in Nepali as well. Discussion will be on the basis of interpretation and critical analysis. There will be assimilation as well. I am sure you will accompany me till the end of this video, and if you are new to my channel, my request is subscribe my channel, and your one subscription will add me a ladder to my success. Okay, here we go. I want your company till the end of this video, and if you like this video, please share this. Today's discussion, King John and Abbot of Canterbury. Here is a plot. The mighty King John was an unjust person. He envied the housekeeping, wealth, and renown of the Abbot of Canterbury. He called the righteous abbot before and charged him of treachery against the crown. The abbot was fatherless, however, he could not escape the doubt of the foolish king, who put him three nonsensical questions, let's say absurd questions, which the abbot could not answer and begged for 15 days' time. The abbot found none to answer his query. At last, his own illiterate shepherd disguised himself as the abbot, went to the king in his attire and replied all the questions satisfactorily. The king then pardoned both the shepherd and the abbot. So, this is the plot of King John and Abbot of Canterbury. Now we go with the summary. Here is very short summary here in the slide. Now let me read and let me tell you a bit longer summary. Had King John been wise, the abbot would not have attended the palace. He would not have asked funny questions to the abbot either. King John ruled over England. He was not wise in state affairs. An abbot of Canterbury lived too in his kingdom. The abbot was popular for managing his state. Once the king heard about abbot who used 100 servants on housekeeping and 50 gold chains ever forgive. He asked him about his property. The abbot replied that his property was not unfair and that he was not rebel. But the king intended to punish him. He asked him 3 questions and gave a period of a fortnight for the answer. The questions were: what was the king's value along with the gold crown? How fast was his riding around the earth? What was he thinking at the moment? The king said, answer these or get beheaded. The abbot consulted his scholars of Oxford and Cambridge to come to no help. His shepherd, meanwhile, was clever. The appointed day, his answer came, means it was almost fortnight. The shepherd borrowed the abbot's dress, horse and servants, and attended the king. To the first question, he said that the king and gold crown valued 29 pence, 1 penny less than the auction value of Jesus Christ. To the second, he said that the king could ride round the earth before the next sunrise. To the third, he said that king thought abbot to the shepherd, who was only the duplicate face. The king was pleased with all the answers and graced mercy on the abbot's life. He rewarded the shepherd too. This is the literal comprehension or summary of the text. And now it's time for us to discuss this poem in Nepali. अज्ञात कविद्वारा रचिएको यो कविता एउटा निरङ्कुश राजा जोन र क्यान्टरबरीको मुख्य पादरीसँग सम्बन्धित छ। त्यो राजा इङ्ल्यान्डको राजा थियो र अनि त्यही इङ्ल्यान्डमा अब क्यान्टरबरी भन्ने एउटा ठुलो चर्च गिर्जाघर छ। त्यहाँको एउटा ठुलो पादरी भद्र पादरीको बारेको एउटा चाहिँ एउटा राजाले त्यो पादरीप्रति गरेको बढी शङ्का र अनि त्यसपछि उसको चाहिँ अब उसको व्यवस्थापनप्रति उसको डाहाले गर्दाखेरि अब राजालाई क्यान्टरबरीको जुन भद्र पादरीलाई चाहिँ उसले दण्ड दिन चाह्यो। दण्ड दिनको लागि उटपटाङ क्वेसनहरू तीनटा उटपटाङ क्वेसनहरू अथवा प्रश्नहरू सोध्यो। ती तीनटा प्रश्नको उत्तर दिनको लागि चाहिँ पादरीले केही समय 15 दिनको अथवा 2 हप्ताको समय माग्यो। 2 हप्ताको समयभित्र उसले अब अक्सफोर्ड विश्वविद्यालय, क्याम्ब्रिज विश्वविद्यालय लगायतका ठुला विद्वानहरूसँग सोध्यो। तर कसैबाट चाहिँ उसलाई चाहिने उत्तर अब त्यो राजालाई चाहिँ चित्तबुद्ध उत्तर चाहिँ दिन सक्ने अवस्था आएन। अब 15 दिन त उसले देख्न पाउनु छैन। त्यो 15 दिन देख्न नपाउने भएको हुनाले अब के गर्ने त बडा चिन्तित मुद्रामा थियो। त्यो चिन्तित मुद्रामा भएको आफ्नो चाहिँ पादरीलाई देखेर त्यहाँको एउटा भेडी गोठालो अलिक चलाक पनि थियो, धूर्त पनि थियो। नपढ्दैमा मान्छे मूर्ख हुँदैन के, पढेको मान्छे मूर्ख हुन सक्छ। उसकै आफ्नो सिद्धान्तमा चाहिँ अडिग भएर चाहिँ एउटा समय सापेक्ष आफूलाई ढाल्न सकेन भने पढेको मान्छे मूर्ख हुन्छ। तर नपढेको मान्छे अक्षर पो जानेको छैन, उसले त्यो किताबका अक्षरहरू पढेको छैन, अङ्कहरू पढेको छैन त्यहाँका, तर उसले त जिन्दगी पढेको छ नि। विभिन्न जनावरहरूसँग, प्रकृतिसँग, सबैसँग जुधेर उसले पढेको छ नि। उसको अनुभव त्यो त्यति महत्त्वपूर्ण हुन्छ। अनि एउटा भेडी गोठालोले के राजालाई चाहिँ उत्तर दिएर आफ्नो पादरीलाई सहयोग गर्न सक्छौ कि भनेर एउटा पादरीसँग आग्रह गर्यो। त्यो आग्रह गरिसकेपछि ठिक छ तिमी त्यसो गर्छौ भने गर भनेर पादरीले लाई पठाइदिन्छ। पठाएपछि त्यसको उत्तर राजाको 3टा प्रश्नको उत्तर पादरीको भेषमा भेडी गोठालोले गएर दिन्छ। दिइसकेपछि राजालाई चित्त बुझ्छ। चित्त बुझेपछि पादरीको भेषमा भएको भेडी गोठालोले आफ्नो रहस्य खोल्छ र अनि त्यसपछि त्यसको प्रश्नको उत्तर पाएपछि राजा पनि खुसी र उसले चाहिँ दुवै अब त्यो क्यान्टरबरीको उच्च पादरी र भेडी गोठालो दुवैलाई चाहिँ क्षमा दिन्छ र उनीहरूसँग खुसी पनि हुन्छ। कुनै समय यी चाहिँ सत्तामा बसेका चाहिँ मान्छेहरू सत्ताले मातेर सत्ता उन्मादमा जे पनि गर्न सक्छन्। उनीहरू आफै राज्य हुँ, आफै सर्वसत्ता हुँ, आफै सर्वेसर्वा हुँ, आफैले जे चाह्यो मैले जे बोल्यो जे गरेँ त्यो सबै कानुन हुन्छ, मैले भनेको हुनैपर्छ, मैले नत्र भने चाहिँ यस्तो धम्की दिन्छु भने यस्ता भन्ने मान्छेहरू धेरै हुन्छन्। ती मान्छेहरूसँग जोगिन पनि सर्वसाधारणलाई गाह्रो हुन्छ। अब यहाँ चाहिँ पादरी क्यान्टरबरीको चाहिँ ठुलो पादरीलाई चाहिँ राजाले अब अनावश्यक डाहा गरेर अनावश्यक चाहिँ उसलाई चाहिँ उसको एउटा व्यवस्थापकीय क्षमता हेरेर आफू चाहिँ राम्रोसँग राज्य नचलाउने, राज्यका गतिविधिहरू, आर्थिक गतिविधिहरू, सामाजिक गतिविधिहरू, सांस्कृतिक धार्मिक गतिविधिहरू राम्रोसँग चलाउन नजान्ने, अनि अरू कसैले राम्रोसँग चलाएको छ भने त्यो चाहिँ देशद्रोही भएर अब त्यसलाई चाहिँ तैँले मैले भनेको मानिनस् भने, एउटा मेरा प्रश्न यस्ता उटपट्याङ प्रश्नहरूको उत्तर दिइनस् भने तेरो चाहिँ शिर छेदन गरिदिन्छु भन्ने, यस्ता बेवकुफ मान्छेहरू, यस्ता बेवकुफ शासकहरू विभिन्न देशहरूमा हुन्छन्। यस्ता बेवकुफ शासकहरूसँग जोगिएर बाँचेका मान्छेहरूका कथा अब यहाँ चाहिँ हामीले तपाईहरुलाई यहाँ छलफल गर्न पाएका छौँ। अब यो कवितामा के छ त भन्दाखेरि एउटा निरङ्कुश अन्यायी राजा र क्यान्टरबरीको पादरीको कथा मैले अहिले भनिसकेँ। पादरीले राजाभन्दा पनि राम्रो तरिकाले घर कारोबार चलाएको कुरा सुनेको थियो। त्यो प्रसिद्ध पादरीको सेवामा सयौं मानिसहरू लागिरहन्थे। उसले मखमलको कोटमा 50औं स्वर्ण मुद्रा राख्थ्यो। ग्लानीले गर्दा राजा नै साह्रै रिसाएको थियो। उसले पादरीलाई बोलाएर राजाको विरुद्धमा षड्यन्त्र गर्न लागेको भनी अभियोग लगायो। यद्यपि पादरीले विनम्र भएर आफूमा कुनै नराम्रो भावना, कुनै तुस, कुनै डाहा नरहेको बतायो। तैपनि राजाले उसको कुरा मानेन र उसलाई चाहिँ मृत्यु दिनको लागि चाहिँ निर्दयी खेल खेल्यो। यस्तो खेल खेल्यो कि र तीनवटा प्रश्न, मूर्खैपूर्ण प्रश्न, मैले होइन भने उटपट्याङ टाइपका प्रश्नहरू सोध्यो। अब त्यहाँ चाहिँ पहिलो प्रश्न थियो, राजाको मूल्य भनेको राजमुकुटको मूल्य। पुरै पृथ्वीको वरिपरि एकपल्ट घुम्न उसलाई कति समय लाग्ने थियो राजालाई? त्यतिखेर राजाले के सोध्दै थियो? तेस्रो प्रश्न। पहिलो प्रश्न, अब राजमुकुटको मूल्य कति थियो? दोस्रो प्रश्न, पुरै पृथ्वीको वरिपरि एकपल्ट घुम्न राजालाई कति समय लाग्ने थियो? तेस्रो प्रश्न, त्यतिखेर राजाले के सोध्दै थियो? पादरी यो जवाब तत्काल दिन सकेन, तर उत्तर दिनको लागि उसले 2 हप्ताको समय माग्यो। ऊ अक्सफोर्ड र क्याम्ब्रिज गयो। त्यहाँ उसलाई कसैले सहयोग गर्न सकेन, कसैलाई उत्तर थाहा थिएन। अन्तमा उसको अनपढ भेडा चराउने भेडी गोठालोले सहयोग गर्यो। पादरीको भेषमा त्यो भेडा चराउने नोकर अथवा गोठालो राजा सामु पुग्यो र उत्तर दियो फटाफट। राजाको मूल्य 29 पेन्स थियो। त्यो 29 पेन्स भनेको जिसस क्राइस्टको मूल्यसँग सम्बन्धित छ। अनि 29 पेन्स थियो। पुरै पृथ्वी घुम्न राजालाई सूर्य जस्तै 24 घण्टा लाग्ने थियो। अनि त्यतिखेर राजाले त्यो भेडा चराउने नोकर नै क्यान्टरबरीको पादरी हो भन्ने कुरा सोच्दै थियो। राजा उत्तर सुनेर सन्तुष्ट भयो। उसको त्यो नोकरलाई क्यान्टरबरीको पादरीमा नियुक्ति दिने कुरा सुनायो। तर त्यो नोकर अनपढ छु भन्दै अस्वीकार गर्यो र बरु उसको मालिकलाई क्षमा दिनु पर्यो भनी बिन्ती गर्यो। राजाले उसलाई पुरस्कृत गर्यो र पादरीलाई माफ दियो। यसरी चाहिँ एउटा मूर्ख राजा, स्वार्थी राजा, डाही राजा, अन्यायी राजा, निरङ्कुश राजालाई चाहिँ एउटा भेडी गोठालोले राम्रोसँग सबक सिकाएको थियो। यो नै कविताको चर्चा हो। Okay, now here is a discussion. In discussion, as I already mentioned, there we have interpretation of the poem plus critical analysis of the poem. But I am trying to incorporate this so that my students will be benefited for their 4 levels of reading, and they will easily tackle the questions that they face in the exam. Okay, so I am always wishing your success, grand success of those students and scholars who accompany me with my video. Okay, this poem is in the form of ballad. This old ballad may be trying to say that rulers are cruel, jealous, and corrupt. They want to rule by any way. They want to execute power at any cost. The conflict in the poem is stated because John wanted to dominate the abbot and rule the kingdom. Besides, it tells us that bookish knowledge only can't make us intellectual and matured, but a man of practical knowledge can perform well. A fool can teach wits to wise men. Although he was illiterate, the shepherd saved the abbot from the death. Furthermore, this poem may be trying to teach us that absolute power corrupts the mind. Power corrupts and absolute power corrupts more. There should be a balance of power so that rulers rule fairly and justly. Here, the king has misused the power. If there was not absolute power, he would not threaten the abbot. There are humor and satire in this poem. The king ruled the kingdom, but with great wrong and little right. He was jealous of an abbot of the cathedral, only for the abbot was well respectable, rich, and had many people in his service. Such disgracious king had found fault in the noble abbot. His inhuman behavior caused trouble to the abbot a great deal. The king furthermore asked nonsense questions and threatened the abbot that his head would be cut off. Weak and unwise people always find wrong in others and try to dominate others. Such foolish trends in people are foibles that can't be easily removed. People's intelligence is judged by asking puzzling questions. This helps him to be fast and ready all the time. This sort of event does not happen in life. This folk ballad by anonymous poet is a piece of humor. It teaches a certain thing under the grab of satire and humor. It is suggestive with the well-balanced plot with a beginning, middle, and ending with solution. Looking critically or analyzing critically, I like to raise some questions. And can a king ask such a nonsense question to a reputed abbot? Does the king have power to execute the abbot asking rude questions or nonsensical questions? Can a shepherd be wiser than the scholars of Oxford or Cambridge? Can't the king recognize whether he is abbot or shepherd? Is it possible for a man to ride around the world in 24 hours? Besides these points, I like this narrative poem. The poet has pointed out human weakness of absolute power. Human beings are envious, full of prejudice and savagery. Envy and hatred have been always destructive. The king has not been able to tolerate at those goodnesses of the noble, generous abbot of Canterbury. The abbot is a kind person to his people, so even a shepherd likes to sacrifice himself to save his master. The king has tried to avenge because of his anger. He asks nonsense questions, a chance of punishing the abbot to death. The poet exclaims in humor that no man in Cambridge and Oxford was wise to answer the questions. There is another ironical twist in this disposition of the shepherd. He is illiterate, but wise enough to answer all the questions to befool the king, the tyrant king, King John. The king was declared to have worth of 1 pence less than God, that is Jesus Christ. It was certainly an attack on the idea of English kings that they were gods. This ballad gives me insights about the way I generally used to judge ordinary people. Before reading this, ordinary people were worthless for me. But after reading this poem, my views towards laymen have been changed. This poem really is able to convince me that some ordinary people are very practical. Using their practical knowledge, they would be very successful in their life. Sometimes they are proved to be much more intelligent and useful than the scholars at great academic institutions. Ordinary and illiterate countries, people like shepherds, farmers and potters are good in themselves. Having read this poem, I realize they possess hidden practical experience to give special solution of great problem when actually they are needed. I have read a similar humorous conflict between Father William and his son. It is from a poem by Lewis Carroll. The young son makes fun of his father, William, by asking silly questions. He asks how he incessantly stands on his head, doing the exercise in spite of old age. The second silly question is how the old man does the exercise of back somersault at the door. Third question is how he eats whose goose, and fourth question is of keeping a fish on the end of his nose. Knowing that the boy is young, the old man replies accordingly in very funny ways. He gives answer of the spontaneous question, that first question, by saying that he has no injury of the brain, so he does the exercise incessantly. Secondly, he says that he has used ointment to keep his limbs very simple or supple, and so he is able to do a back somersault. For the third question, he replies that he has kept his jaws strong by arguing different cases with his wife. But in the end, instead of a reply, he threatens his son to be off or he will kick him downstairs.